AITA for calling the police on my sister's party while watching it live on my security camera feed? My name is Alexis, I am 34 years old, and I work as a key account manager at a large corporation that manufactures and distributes medical equipment. I do well financially, and thanks to that, a year ago I was finally able to close on the house I had been dreaming of for so long. House hunting was an exhausting process. I spent months viewing listings one after another, and there was always something that did not add up. Some were in a great school district but had a terrible layout. Others looked beautiful on the inside but were on streets that did not give me a sense of security. I began to think I was never going to find what I wanted until I saw it. It was exactly what I had on my list. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a spacious kitchen with granite countertops, hardwood floors throughout the main level, and a backyard perfect for sitting in the morning with coffee, without noise, without neighbors right on top of you. The only thing I did not love was the price, but I had been saving for years and had enough to put down a solid 20% payment. I handled the paperwork, went to the title company, signed what I had to sign, and in less time than one imagines I already had the keys in my hand. When they handed the house over to me, I held a small housewarming gathering. Nothing big. My parents, my younger sister, some close relatives, and 4 or 5 coworkers. I am not one for huge parties. I prefer quiet gatherings where you can actually talk, listen, and laugh at ease, without shouting over the music. My sister is named Sierra. She is 27 years old, 7 years younger than me, and we are quite different. She loves noise, crowds, and parties with many guests. I am more about intimate, peaceful settings. That day at my gathering, she made comments to me as if they were nothing. "You really missed out by not inviting more people," she told me, looking around as if she were evaluating a venue. "And you are low on drinks. This would have been better with more atmosphere." I just smiled and let it pass. Sierra has always been like that. Since she was little, she loved socializing, the chaos, and feeling like the center of attention. After that gathering, she started coming over more often. First, it was every other weekend. Then she would call me during the week too with some excuse. "I am in your area. I was passing by. I want to see how the decorating is coming along." Sometimes she had dinner with me. Sometimes she stayed to sleep in the guest room. Sierra rented a tiny 1-bedroom apartment in the city, and my house in the suburbs with more square footage and comfort seemed like a luxury to her. The problem is that Sierra does not arrive at a place as a guest. She arrives as if she owns it. She would take off her shoes right in the living room and leave them lying there. She would open my refrigerator and help herself to whatever she wanted without asking. She left wet towels on the bathroom floor, glasses on the coffee table, wrappers on the kitchen counters. Once I told her calmly, "Sierra, please pick this up. It is my house." She got offended. "Oh, Alexis, you really are obsessed with order," she snapped at me. "Relax, it is not like it is a sterile operating room." I tried to talk about it a couple more times, but it always ended the same. She would tell me that I was exaggerating, that I got hung up on little things, and I, to avoid starting family drama over dishes and towels, ended up picking up after her. It bothered me, yes, but I repeated to myself that she is my sister, and it is not worth blowing up over this. With the house still brand new, months later a huge opportunity landed on my desk. My boss called for me. When I entered his office, he had a serious look on his face. He explained to me that the company had identified potential clients in Europe, private hospital networks that needed specialized equipment. It was not just any sale, they were massive contracts, the kind that secure your career for years. "Alexis, I want you to handle it," he told me. "You are one of the best with difficult clients, and this requires white glove treatment. You are going to be away for 3 months, moving between cities, presenting, negotiating, and closing." I got excited and anxious at the same time. 3 months away and not on vacation, but with the pressure of the biggest contracts I had ever managed. I prepared intensely. Market research, slide decks, scheduling, legal documents, and about a week before flying out, I realized something very simple. I could not leave the house vacant for 3 months. First, I upgraded my security. I hired a provider to install smart cameras all around, one at the front porch, another facing the garage, and another in the backyard. I also put some inside, including one in the living room. It was not out of paranoia. It was for peace of mind. Afterward, I went to my parents' house about 40 minutes away. I sat at the kitchen table and took a deep breath. Mom, I need a favor, I told her. Tell me. I am going away for 3 months for work. Can you stop by once or twice a week? Just to water the plants, dust a little, see that everything is secure. During the week the traffic is heavy, but as long as you come when you can, I will be at ease. I took out a spare key and left it on the table. My mom took it and stood there thinking. And then, as if it were the most obvious solution in the world, she said, "What if Sierra stays there while you are gone? That way I do not have to go back and forth. In rush hour on the interstate it takes forever." I felt a knot form in my stomach. Mom, I would prefer not to do that, I answered her carefully. You know how she is. Since she was little, her room was a disaster. Clothes everywhere, piled up dishes, trash. It is not that she is a bad person, but she is not responsible with a home. My mom frowned. Alexis, you are exaggerating, she told me, her tone hardening. Sierra is not that terrible. It is just that you are very particular with your house. The conversation was heading in a bad direction, but I tried one more time. Mom, I am really asking you. I just need you to water the plants and check that everything is okay. I do not want Sierra living there while I am away. My mom sighed as if I were being difficult. Fine, she said. I will handle it then. Thank you, I told her, relieved. Really, thank you. We talked a little more about my trip. At some point I went to the restroom. Upon returning, I heard my mom talking to my dad in the kitchen. They were not whispering. They did not care if I heard. That girl is very demanding, my mom was saying, and very selfish with Sierra. Her sister only wants to help and Alexis acts as if she were a criminal. I stood there without moving with an anger that burned inside me. I was not asking for anything unreasonable, I just wanted to protect my asset, but for my mom that was being selfish. I said nothing. I left through the side door without saying goodbye. I went to Europe. The first weeks were chaotic. London, Paris, Berlin, Amsterdam. Meetings with hospital directors, extremely long presentations, and negotiations that leave you voiceless. My day started before 7 in the morning and ended close to 10 at night. I arrived at the hotel, showered, and fell asleep exhausted. The first month I called my mom 3 or 4 times to ask about the house. She always answered cheerfully. Yesterday I stopped by, honey. I watered your plants, dusted the living room a bit. Everything is perfect. I breathed more easily. I trusted her. It sounded as if she were really checking in. Until about a month into the trip, something strange happened. I was in a hotel in Munich, dead tired. I checked social media for a moment before sleeping and saw a post from Sierra. Big news. I finally got promoted at work. Next week I am hosting a party. There were emojis of winking faces and confetti. I stared at the screen, confused. Where was she going to host a party? Her apartment could not even fit 10 people comfortably. I went to the comments section and started to feel a chill run down my spine. For real, you are going to do it there? That is brave, someone wrote. I hope she does not find out, commented another person. This is going to be epic. I am dying to see her face if one day she realizes what happened in her sacred house. Someone else posted. Sierra replied with more laughter and a comment that left me cold. If she knew what I am going to do in her house, she would have a stroke. My hands started shaking from pure nerves. They were talking about my house, there was no doubt. And then appeared the comment that confirmed my worst fears. Will there be a full bar in that house? Someone asked. Sierra replied with a photo. It was my living room, my liquor cabinet, my collection. I recognized everything, the premium tequila that my boss gave me when I closed a big deal. Wines that my coworkers brought me when I moved in. An expensive whiskey that I kept for special occasions. Even an imported bottle that a partner had brought us on a work visit. I felt nauseous from anger and helplessness. Sierra was going to throw her party in my house, and from the comments it seemed she was inviting half the world. I did not think about it. I called her immediately. She answered as if nothing were wrong. Well, I took a breath. Sierra, congratulations on your promotion. I saw your post. Thanks, Alexis. It was about time. The truth is I am going to have a party. Yes, but something light. A get-together. Nothing crazy. I already knew she was lying. Sierra, do not lie to me. I told her without raising my voice but firmly. I know you plan to have that party in my house. An awkward silence fell. Then she sighed. What are you talking about? I saw the photo of the bar. It is my living room. My bottles, you are showing them off as if they were yours. Another silence. And suddenly her voice changed, like when someone feels cornered. Well, yes, she said. It is going to be in your house. So what? I was speechless for a second. What do you mean, so what? I asked. You cannot use my house for a party without asking me for permission. It is empty, Alexis, she replied as if it were the most logical thing. And I am house-sitting. How many people are you inviting? I asked with dread, and her answer was a blow. Like 90, she said. Casually. More or less. Sierra, are you serious? 90 people in my house? They are not strangers, they are my friends and coworkers, she answered me, annoyed. Do you know how much it costs to rent a venue for that many people? This is important to me. I earned it. I forbid you to have that party in my house, I told her plainly. Look for another place. Sierra scoffed. Oh, Alexis, you are not going to ruin this for me. It is my moment. I am not going to let you spoil it because of your anxiety about your house. And she hung up on me. I dialed her again. She did not answer. I dialed her again. Nothing. It went straight to voicemail. 3 more attempts. Ignored. Then I called my mom. Hello, honey. How is the trip going? She answered as if everything were normal. Mom, we have to talk. I just found out that Sierra plans to have a party in my house. Why is she there? There was a long silence. That silence where you already know the answer before hearing it. Well, said my mom slowly. I thought it was easier that way. Instead of me driving over every few days, Sierra could stay there and take care of everything. I felt a cold anger, the kind that does not go away with deep breaths. Mom, I told you clearly that I did not want Sierra living in my house, I reminded her. I asked you to check on it. Alexis, you are creating drama, said my mom, slipping into that scolding tone. Sierra is happy, she likes your house, and she is taking care of it. We are all fine. I am not fine, I answered her, trying hard not to scream. And now she wants to bring 90 people in. You have to tell her to cancel. It is her promotion, replied my mom. It is a big achievement. You cannot stop her from celebrating. It was to help you, honey, so you would not worry. Let her celebrate wherever she wants. But not in my house. My mom let out a phrase that still stings when I remember it. You are very demanding and very selfish, she told me dryly. I will make sure she cleans afterward. Nothing is going to happen, it is one night. And she hung up on me. I stared at the phone in disbelief. My sister and my mom hung up on me on the same night as if I were the one with the problem. I sent clear messages to both of them, stating plainly that I was against the party, that they did not have permission, and that Sierra had to vacate my house immediately. Sierra replied with a single laughing emoji. That was all. As if my house, my hard work, and my boundaries were a joke. My mom did not even answer me. I was in a hotel room thousands of miles away, working under pressure, and my family was making a fool of me. I felt helpless, but that sensation lasted only a moment because an idea came to me. If they want to ignore me, I can do the same. I did not call again, I did not write again. I decided not to give them more fuel, but I had a plan. The week passed. I kept working, but with the time difference, I checked the security cameras in the early morning when I could finally sit down for a minute. And yes, Sierra was living there as if the title deed were in her name. I saw her enter and leave calmly. I saw people in the living room during the week. I saw her uncorking bottles. I saw towels thrown around, dishes in the kitchen, and that sensation of invasion tightened my chest. The day of the party arrived. I was in Amsterdam. The next day I had a critical meeting with a hospital group that could sign the biggest contract of the trip. I tried to focus on my notes, but I could not. My mind was entirely on my house. At about 7 at night in Amsterdam, which was roughly noon in Chicago, I opened the security application on my computer. I wanted to see in real time what was happening. First, I saw Sierra running from one side to another, arranging decorations, moving furniture, setting up the living room as if it were a banquet hall. Then people started arriving, many people, one after another entering through my front door, laughing, shouting, with red cups in hand. Some were already intoxicated before entering. I saw how they dragged chairs, how they leaned on the furniture, how one almost knocked over a floor lamp. I saw a spill on the hardwood floor. And I wanted to shut everything down and cry from anger. The house filled up. On the living room camera, I counted more than 60 people just in that space. There were people in the kitchen, on the patio, and in the hallway. And the worst part, I saw several going up the stairs to the second floor, as if it were normal to walk through bedrooms that did not belong to them, and guests were still arriving. Then they went to the bar. In minutes, my bottles were in everyone's hands. I saw one person pouring themselves a drink carelessly. I saw another drinking straight from the bottle. I saw how my glassware, which I took great care of, was being used without a second thought. And Sierra was there as the queen of the party, pointing, showing off the house. I stood watching my worst nightmare become reality. I did not want them to be arrested or to cause a scene for pleasure. I wanted them out of my house and for the invasion to end. So I did not dial on impulse. I dialed because it was my only way to protect my property from so far away. Instead of trusting that an international call to 911 would route correctly, I used the most reliable method. I called my security monitoring company and asked them to file a report with the local police for a property intrusion in progress. They verified my account information. I confirmed that I was the owner. I gave the address and stayed on the line in case the authorities needed to verify. We are dispatching a unit to investigate, they told me. I stayed in front of the screen. 10 minutes later, I saw red and blue lights reflecting in the entryway. Patrol cars arrived. Several officers got out and approached the door. The music was so loud that no one heard the doorbell. One of the officers knocked again. Nothing. Then they started banging on the door with force. Sierra appeared, and her smile vanished. I saw her talk fast, move her hands, point inside, as if trying to convince them of something. I did not have audio, I only watched. But it was clear that they were asking her to explain why there were so many people there. And at that moment a call came in on my cell. It was Sierra. I answered. Pure chaos could be heard in the background, music, voices. And Sierra shouting, "Alexis, there are police at your house." An officer's voice cut in. "He is telling me to call you. I am putting you on speaker. Tell them that I am authorized, that everything is fine." I stayed silent for a second. Not out of doubt, just because I wanted to choose my words carefully. "Officer," I said calmly, speaking clearly so they would hear. "This is Alexis, the owner of the house. I am in Europe on a business trip. I did not give permission to my sister or any of these people to be on my property. They are entering without authorization. I want you to remove them." I heard a stifled sound from Sierra, as if she could not believe it. "What are you doing?" She shouted at me beside herself. "I told you not to throw this party in my house," I answered just as calmly. "You decided to ignore me. Now you are responsible for the consequences." A police officer took the phone. "Ma'am, this is Officer Daniel speaking. Do you confirm that you want all these people to leave your house?" "Yes, officer. I want everyone out now. No one has my permission to be there." The officer returned the phone. Sierra was on the verge of crying, but more than crying, she was furious. "You are the worst," she shouted at me. "You ruined my night." And she hung up. I went back to the screen. The police entered and started asking everyone to vacate the premises. I saw faces of surprise, confused people, others annoyed. Some grabbed their drinks, others looked for their jackets. Little by little they were leaving, but Sierra did not want to give up. I saw her argue with the officer, point at the house as if it were hers. Then she tried to push past back inside, as if she did not care what they were telling her. One of the officers stopped her, and she pulled her arm away, pushed back and broke loose, starting to struggle physically with them. I opened my eyes in disbelief. My sister was fighting with a police officer to avoid leaving my house. In seconds, 2 others arrived to assist. They secured her, placed her hands behind her back, and handcuffed her. Sierra kept screaming and moving as if that were going to change something. They escorted her to a patrol car and placed her inside. When finally the last person left, my house remained empty, silent. I was trembling, but not from fear anymore, but from pure contained anger. I needed someone to secure the house. So I called Mrs. Pauline, my neighbor across the street, with whom I always had a good relationship. "Mrs. Pauline, it is Alexis. Sorry to bother you, but I need a huge favor. The police just removed people who were in my house without permission. Could you go over to close and lock everything up? I am not in the country." Of course, honey, she told me without hesitating. I saw the patrol cars and I was wondering what was happening. I am going over there. Thank you. If the officers are still there, please tell them that I authorized you to take the keys to secure the doors and the gate. Good. Understood, she told me. I will speak with them. I asked Officer Daniel in a quick call to wait for Mrs. Pauline to arrive. When she arrived, I confirmed by phone that she was my neighbor, and that she had my authority to safeguard the key. The officers watched her lock up and then they departed. That same night, about an hour later, my phone rang again. It was my mom, and she spoke with a voice loaded with anger. How could you do that to your sister? She demanded. Sierra is in custody because of you. Sierra is there because she trespassed in my house and threw a party without permission, I replied. And why did she resist when the police told her to leave? She did not trespass, said my mom quickly. I gave her the key. You gave her the key so she would check the house, not to move in and throw parties, I answered. And I told you clearly that I did not want her living there. Fix this now, demanded my mom. Call someone so they release her. Get your sister out. No, I said simply. My mom stayed silent for a second. As if she could not process that I told her no. You are cruel, she let out finally. I no longer had the desire to continue. Mom, that is enough, I told her. And I hung up. I turned off the phone. I turned it off because otherwise I was going to explode. The following day I turned it on and saw a mountain of missed calls and messages. My parents, Sierra, the whole world wanting to complain to me. Among the voicemails, I gathered that my parents had contacted a lawyer, paid a bail bondsman, and managed to get Sierra out. Then the authorities contacted me to ask if I wanted to press charges for the trespassing. I told them no. I did not want to sink my sister with a criminal record. I just wanted her to stay away from my house and for them to understand that they could not walk all over me. I spoke with Mrs. Pauline and asked her for another favor. I asked her to hire a professional deep cleaning service, whatever was needed to remove the disaster of the party. I told her I would wire the money and give her extra for the trouble. She told me that for everything they left behind, the service was going to come out to several $100s. For the rest of the trip, I blocked my family on my phone. I did not want to hear anything. I focused on my work. I closed important contracts, the kind that really changed the trajectory of a career. Every time I closed one, I thought I am delivering results while they are playing games with my life. 3 months later, I returned to the U.S. The first thing I did was go to see Mrs. Pauline. I brought her a gift from Europe and reimbursed her for the cleaning, plus the amount I promised her for her help. It gave me comfort to know that at least someone behaved with respect toward me. A week later, my family appeared at my door. My mom, my dad, and Sierra arrived with hard expressions, as if I were the one who owed them something. We have to talk, said my mom, and without waiting for an invitation, they walked in. I froze for a second. It was hard for me to react. Seeing them walk through my living room, through my house, as if nothing had happened, turned my stomach. My mom let out what she had stored up. You owe us almost $6,000, she announced. That was what it cost us to get your sister out, between the lawyer's retainer and the bail bond. I laughed. I could not help it. An incredulous laugh. Seriously, you are telling me that? I asked. You want me to pay because Sierra broke into my house and threw a party without permission? Sierra spoke up, offended. You provoked everything, she said. I just wanted to celebrate my promotion in my house, I answered, without asking me for permission. With 90 people and using my property as if it were yours. My mom wanted to cut in. Enough, Alexis, it was one night. You exaggerate. I did not respond with shouting. I responded with facts. I went for my laptop, opened a folder where I had saved the videos and recordings, and I put the screen in front of them. They stayed silent, watching Sierra entering and leaving my house for weeks. Sierra throwing things, leaving a mess, bringing people in, opening bottles, showing off the house, acting like the owner. My mom's face changed, my dad's too. Sierra stood rigid. You didn't know, I said slowly. Right? My mom swallowed hard. My dad shifted nervously. Sierra just pursed her lips. That is how she was taking care of it, I said without raising my voice, but with all my anger surfacing. You betrayed me, I continued. And there my voice broke a little. You went behind my back, you lied to me, you mocked me, and you treated my house as if it were worth nothing. I cannot trust any of you. My dad spoke for the first time with a softer tone. Alexis, can we fix this? We are family. I did not answer him. We cannot. I need distance. I need time, and I need to think if I want to have a relationship with people who treat me like this. An uncomfortable silence fell. I pointed to the door. Please leave. They left, but my mom could not hold back. You disappoint me, she told me upon leaving with that voice of a mother who believes her judgment is final. I did not think you were like that. I did not answer her. I closed the door. That was 6 months ago. I have not spoken to any of them since then. I changed the locks, upgraded the security system, and made it clear with facts that my house is my boundary. And although it hurt, I tell you something with total honesty. For the first time in a long time, I live peacefully, without drama, without intrusions, without laughter in my face when I say no. Thanks from the heart for accompanying me through this bitter experience. I know that many of you understand better than anyone what it means to work hard for years to build assets. Do you know what it costs to have that little corner of peace of your own where you can rest your body and your soul? That is why I know you understood my pain. It was not just the bottles or the dirty floor. It was feeling that the effort of my life was worth nothing to them. What I learned the hard way and want to share with you with all my affection is that family is not sustained only by blood, but by respect. We grew up believing that we have to forgive everything and turn the other cheek in the name of family loyalty. But today I know that true love does not abuse or invade. It cost me tears to understand that my mental peace and my dignity are sacred and that we are not selfish for closing the door, even if it is to our own mother, if that is necessary to protect ourselves. Do not feel guilty for choosing your tranquility. At the end of the day, sleeping in peace is the greatest luxury that exists. I send you a huge hug full of gratitude for listening to me. Alexis. Comment. Reading this story reminded me how difficult, yet necessary, it is to protect our peace. We often grow up believing that family loyalty means accepting disrespect, but real love never requires us to erase our boundaries. Learning to say no is one of the hardest things to do, especially when it involves the people we care about most. Still, your dignity and your mental well-being are too valuable to be compromised by anyone. Establishing clear limits is not an act of selfishness. It is an essential act of self-preservation and self-respect. You deserve a home that feels like a sanctuary, not a battleground for someone else's chaos. It is okay to walk away from toxicity and choose the tranquility you have worked so hard to build. Remember, healthy relationships are built on mutual consideration, not obligation or manipulation. I hope you find the courage to choose your own happiness and surround yourself with people who truly honor you. Sending you so much love and strength as you navigate your own journey toward peace. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.